presents this program in color.
Hold it. I think you're going to like this picture.
Ready? Go.
Here's Mac Murphy. He's the man of the band, nothing more.
Nothing more.
Here's Mac Murphy. It's the show with the most on the score.
Highly debatable.
Well, he's never been in a French fry.
That's true.
Yes, here's Mac Murphy. The slam dunk is fans on the score. And that's Murphy's on.
Wow, 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 wow.
Murphy's on.
Wow, 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 wow.
Murphy's on.
Wow, how you doing, everybody? Murph with you from now until 2. Lots to cover. I'm driven to you, as always, by Chevy. DriveChicago.com. So much to hit, so little time. Let's get rolling. We will hear from our score baseball guy today, Zach Zaidman's out at Wrigley Field. We'll hear from Zach in a little bit. Little scene setter for Game 3. That would be what they used to call the rubber game of the 3-game series, day game at Wrigley Field. I watched the entire White Sox game last night, and although it was just 6 innings, I watched the entire Cubs game last night. We will preview Hard Hawk Hockey Game 5 in Detroit tonight. I just happen to have Jay Zawoski with me right here. Jay producing, as always, does a great job. Also, our Scores post-game Blackhawk host and our Score hockey. No, not basketball, Jay. Hockey expert. All right. We will get plenty of white. Scotty Podsednik, we've said it all along. This guy looks better. We'll talk about him. It's his legs. Will the legs hold out? We'll get Sox fans' thoughts on that in a few minutes. Sox fans also, last night's game, how about the big defense? We will cover a little bit later. Jason Nix at second base. We had that first back in the in spring training. We had a unbelievable little scouting report from Carney Lansford, longtime roving hitting coach for the Giants, longtime American League third sacker Carney Lansford. Who was he with? The Angels, the Red Sox, as I recall. He said, Jason, we laughed. We laughed at the time. He said, Jason Nix, the best fielding second baseman he'd ever seen in 30 years of baseball. Last night he showed it again. And Paul Konerko with the nice scoop. Alexi, we'll get to the Sox in a few minutes. We'll get to the Blackhawks. I want to get to Cubs talk, though, first. Oh, you know what? For our Blackhawks fans, Jay Zawoski, let's set up a quick text question. All right? 67011, powered by U.S. Cellular. Text me if you're a Blackhawks fan. Now, Jay, this was your idea. The letter H for Huey or the letter C for Crawford. What is that? Is that Corey Crawford, the backup goal? Now, what's the deal with the goalies tonight, Jay?
Well, it looks like Javi Bullen will not play. He tried to skate this morning and couldn't.
So we know it's a lower body
injury. So his lower body is still
groin,
hurt.
Knee?
Probably groin.
Okay.
So Corey Crawford is the backup.
And he did get a little taste during the, 6-1 debacle the other.
Right, he looked okay.
He came in, middle of the game, and then what happened?
Came
back
early in the second, and then Huey finished the game in the third period. So,
Jay, do you approve of our text question? Blackhawks fans, real quick, the letter H, Huey, or the letter C, Corey Crawford, 67011. How do you want to phrase this, Jay? Who do you want to see in the Nets tonight?
Yeah, there you go. Who do you want to see in that tonight? H for Huey, C for Crawford.
All right, that's from our hockey expert, Jay Zawoski, 67011HC. Now, let's do this. We'll talk about Cub fans. They back up the truck minor league-wise. You've probably heard earlier this morning it was announced 3 up from AAA, 2 down to AAA, 1 on the DL. Cub fans, is this, what's the old expression? I still love it, though. Rearranging the deck chairs on the sinking Titanic. Bringing up Andres Blanco, Jake Fox, and left-handed pitcher in the bullpen, Jason Waddell. Is this just out right now? Kotz to AAA? I say Kotz to AAA. Oh, you're a rough crowd. Our guy, Bobby Scales, back down to AAA. He said the flu. And on the DL, Aaron Miles. So out, Kotz, Scales, Miles. In, Blanco, Fox, Waddell. Cub fans, just rearranging the deck chairs on the sinking Titanic. Can we come up with a better expression than that? That's about 100 years old. Or are you from the other side that says anytime, Murph, you can improve your team by the slightest little bit, you have to do it. anytime you upgrade, even the most little infinitesimal piece, and that's what this would be in Jim Hendry's mind, you say, you know what, it's a good move. Anytime you get better, you have to do it. But let's talk on a bigger picture also. 67011, the letter H, the letter C, and our phone number remains 644-6767. All right, Cub fans, baseball fans, I want to wrap something up about Milton Bradley. And I think you'll find this different. It will certainly be unique and fresh. Whether you agree or not, that's for you to determine. But I'm going to make a statement that you may find a little incredulous. You may find a little hard to believe. But I'm going to make this statement. Yesterday, when the papers showed Milton Bradley making the statement, quote, the umpires are working together against me when a two-strike count, right? He said, all the umpires, when it's two strikes on me, they're looking, how can they get me? How can they get Milton Bradley? Because they're sticking up for that umpire, what was his name, Larry Vanover? And oh my God, did Milton take the heat? Well, let me ask you something. If I make this statement that what Milton Bradley said to the papers in your on Monday and Tuesday, what Milton Bradley said helped and paid off big time in the Cubs' victory last night. Yesterday afternoon, after I left work, 2 o'clock. You call that work, Murph? When I left work at 2 o'clock yesterday, got home, got on the treadmill. My life's a treadmill. I don't really need one. Got on the treadmill and turned on the Entertainment Sports Programming Network television, ESPN. And they got the Kornheiser arguing with the Wilbon or whatever their names are, and they got the Kralls. And guess what one of the lead things was that kept popping in and out? Milton Bradley popping off. Oh, he talks too much. Saying the umpires are against him. Boy, has this guy got a mental problem? What is it? Inferiority complex? What is it? Does he feel alienated? Hey, what is it? Does he think everyone's against him? Paranoid? You heard every word, right? Every one of those words. Milton Bradley's this, Milton Bradley's that. Milton Bradley might not be quite so dumb. Did you watch the 6 innings of the Cub game closely? Well, maybe not. You're busy, right? You got home from work, you're watching the game, your wife's doing the laundry, you got the kids helping with the homework, you're doing your thing. You can't watch every pitch, play-by-play. I did it for you. Here's what happened in last night's Cubs game. The plate umpire, let me make sure I had this right, a fellow by the name of, it appears, Nelson, right? Jeff Nelson behind the plate. Now, let me ask you something. If all day long when he's sitting in his hotel room, wherever the umpires hole up, when he's sitting there in his hotel room all day yesterday, and he's watching ESPN television, and he's seeing over and over and over again that Milton Bradley is saying that when he has 2 strikes on him, the umpires are enlarging the strike zone to try to stick it to him. What do you think Jeff Nelson's thinking? Man, what happens tonight if I'm in the middle of something like this with a 2-strike count? And let's say there's a pitch right on the border, right on the edge of the plate, the black as they used to call it, because home plate's white rubber encased in around by black little rubber, and it's called the on the black, on the edge. Painting, they say. Oh, he's painting. He's got great location with the good velo, the good velocity. All right. What do you think Jeff Nelson's thinking? If you ever umpired Little League, high school, college, you know how you think, oh, my God, you know what? Everything's coming down in this game to that next batter. Well, you know what Jeff Nelson's thinking yesterday? I hope it doesn't go 3-2 count on Milton Bradley. And I hope that it's not right on the paint, right on the edge, right on the corner, right on the black. Because if I ring him up, strike 3 called, what if I'm wrong? Every ballpark now, they got rid of Quest Text, it was called. Every park now has a system, and all the umps are reviewed. You read here in the Tribune today, Bob Davidson says that Ted Lilly was lying. We'll get to that a little bit later. You got to get rid of all these umpires. Just get rid of them. I don't know how you do it. They have a union, whatever you just get rid of them. Start new. So Jeff Nelson, all day in his hotel room, you know what he's thinking? He's thinking, whoo! Vuke is on my side. That's what Murph says. Jeff Vukovich is Murph's nationwide insurance agent of the year. Vuke, Park Ridge family guy, 30 years. Jeff Vukovich. Everybody knows Vuke. Someday you will. So, all right. Here's the situation, sports fans. Oh, you hate Milton Bradley. Yeah, hate Milton Bradley. Well, Sox fans they hate everybody who's on the Cubs, so half the city hates Milton Bradley just because he's a Cub. And seems like about 90% of the Cub fans hate Milton Bradley because, the media certainly hates him because he's not friendly to them. So Milton Bradley, what do you know? Everything, the perfect storm lined up last night. The Cubs are leading 2-0, and they go into the bottom of the third inning. Due up, Terrio, Fukudome, Bradley, the Hoff. Not David Hasselhoff from Lyons Township High School, LaGrange. We blocked it. We threw him out of our Hall of Fame at LT. The Hoff would be hitting fourth behind Bradley. All right, here's what happens, sports fans. Bottom of the third inning, what do you know? Behind the plate, Jeff Nelson. Terrio flies out to center. Fukudome, after homering in the first, he taps out 4-3 to the second baseman. That brings up Bradley. Nobody on. Cubs up by 2. Drizzle starting to occur. And what do you know? It's a 3-ball, 2-strike count. Now, what I'm going to replay for you here is not very dynamic. It's not very exciting. And frankly, I'm probably breaking every radio rule by playing this because it's really not going to paint the picture any better than I'm doing right now. But Bradley, on a 3-2 pitch, guess what? The fastball is right on the black, right on the edge, right on the corner, and he takes it, and he'd have been rung up. Strike 3! Inning over. Yesterday, the day before that, the day before that, all the way back to Larry Vanover, and before that, strike 3 called! Well, guess who froze behind a plate because Bradley had said that the umpires are jobbing him on strike 2 counts? Guess what Nelson does?
Count full up, 3-2. Payoff pitch. Ball 4.
And then
Another drive deep to right for Hoff. Power.
the Hoff.
Off the wall. Gets past Monroe.
Yeah, come on, Milton.
Gonna be sent.
Come on, Milton.
3-0.
Yeah. So there, highlights courtesy good old Comcast Sportsnet. Murphapalooza back in a flash. Oh, Murph, come on. It was a meaningless run. They win 6-1. Come on, Murph. You suck. Cub fan Murph. All right. It happened, and it's documented. And I'm just doing a little Howard Cosell. Just telling you as it is. So how you can call up now and say that Milton Bradley should have kept his mouth shut, as I probably echoed yesterday myself, we were all wrong. He intimidated the umpire, who knows that they're watching in Milwaukee.
Bud Selig declined to talk to
To
us.
see if anyone's going to squeeze Milton on a 2-strike pitch. He walks, a double, and now you're up 3-0 instead of 2-0. And the way the Cubs are playing, every run is huge. Sports Radio 670, it's Murph. Hawks, Sox, Cubs, we cover it all.
We go live to Len Casper and Bob Brenly
Wake
at
up.
Wrigley Field.
Wake up,
Gentlemen?
guys.
All right, Pat. We heard some people singing "Go Cubs Go" a cappella style as the W flag finally fly. First time in over a week. Cubs in their 8-game losing streak. We can officially say it.
Cubs win. Cubs win. I know what you're saying. The Sox fans are saying only because it rained they'd have lost 9 in a row. Maybe you're right. It's Murph. Let's get back to the phone lines. We got Sox Blackhawks talk coming up. We'll have Zach Zaidman in a few minutes live at Wrigley Field. We're going to go down on the farm for a quickie. And who wouldn't enjoy that with Dean Ellis, play-by-play voice of the AAA Cubs. Why? Cubs add infielder Andres Blanco from AAA. Basically good field, no hit, but he's been hitting. Switch hitter. Hits better versus right-handed pitching, 342. He's hitting 250 against lefties. And, of course, today it's a lefty, Zach Duke. They bring up Jake Fox, who we're going to talk about. I see a couple of our callers on the screen right now. I want to talk Jake Fox. He's not in the starting lineup today, though. I don't understand it. The guy's winning the Triple Crown at AAA. leading the league, in other words, in the three major categories, home runs, batting average, RBIs. He's on, like, what did I read here? About a 15, 17-game hitting streak. How come he's not playing? Maybe nowhere to play him. And bye-bye, Neil Kotz. Bring up a rag-arm lefty from AAA, Jason Waddell, who has an ERA of about 5, down 5.4 at AAA. It means Lou didn't want to see Neil Kotz any longer, as you may agree. And is this just rearranging? Has anyone suggested a better analogy, a better axiom, a better phrase than rearranging the deck? No one yet, Jay? All right.
Nothing yet, Murph.
Do we have to entice with goodies and prizes? Or no, we don't have to.
No.
We don't have to bribe our fans. Rearranging the deck chairs on the sinking Titanic. Is that what this is, bringing these three guys up? Or every little move you make helps a little bit. Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Let's go to Tony in Elmhurst. Hey, Tony.
Hey, good afternoon, Murph.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Listen, one problem I want to talk to you about. You know, back in November, when they were trying to get Jake Peavy and all this, and they were talking about it, and they were willing to make a deal, and they said, "Oh, you can't make the deal." And now they said they can't do nothing.
Now wait a minute. The Cubs walked away from the deal when Jim Hendry in the paper took that 2-hour walk around the hotel. Remember the Winter League meeting hotel? And he decided that it wasn't in the best. The way it was packaged at that moment, he walked away. Go ahead.
Yeah, but apparently they had the money. Why don't they?
I just said it. Well, hold on. Not apparently. You didn't listen to me. I said the deal could have been done, and Hendry walked from it because of the young players they wanted. Yes, you're right. The money was there. Not apparently. It was.
Yeah, but it's not there now.
Correct.
And the moves they're making now, they're trying to catch lightning in the bottom.
Are they rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, or are they making the team a little bit better?
They're putting 3 knuckleheads down and bringing 3 knuckleheads. I mean,
but maybe these knuckleheads are better than the other knuckleheads. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. Huh. Hey, Jay Zawoski, how do you like your text questions so far? We have, who would you, Blackhawks fans, who do you want to see in goal tonight? The score has learned. This just in. Hobby Bullen, a scratch for tonight. Is that the right hockey word? A scratch?
Yes.
Healthy scratch? No, he's
unhealthy.
out.
He's out, yes.
Okay. So that means, is it Cristobal? Can I just say Chris Huey?
They've been calling him Christo.
Whatever.
Which I don't
and
really
Corey
like.
Crawford, right?
Yeah.
Now, he's the young kid from the Rockford Ice Dogs.
Ice Hogs.
Okay, that too. They changed their name?
No, yeah, they've always been the Hogs.
Isn't he like a Chicago guy or a Rock? He's from Illinois, right?
I believe so.
You believe so? You're my expert.
Well, I don't have the guy's bio in front of me.
Apparently, they had the money. All right, so text us right now. Jay Zawoski wants to know who should start tonight. H for Huey, C for Crawford, 67011. How do you like your results so far?
Not surprising.
Okay, let's go back to the phones. Oh, when you have a minute, anybody? Jay, anybody? When you have a minute, compare right now Derek Lee's season numbers with the Hoff. Micah Hoff power. Now, the Cubs will face 4 left-handed starting pitchers today and for the next 5 games in a row. 4 lefties in 5 games. That means Derek Lee, get off the deathbed with the flu and start producing. This is when the Cubs need you. And Jake Fox is here, and he's been nothing but tearing up AAA, leading in everything. It's just AAA. I know that. 423 batting average, 17 homers, 50 ribbies. But by the way, remember Jason Dubois? He couldn't play. Remember that guy? He's on the Cubs AAA team. He's hitting 348 with 6 homers and 22 ribs, and he couldn't play dead in the major leagues. Let's go. Who are the 4 lefties in the next 5 days? Zach Duke today. Dodgers come in for a 4-game series. Let's see. Some winners, Clayton Kershaw, Randy Wolf. They'll throw a righty, Billingsley, and then you get Eric Milton, who they brought up from AAA. Yeah, the old Minnesota Twins guy actually, I think, had a pretty good outing. Phil from McHenry. Hello, Philly.
Hey, how you doing there, Murph?
Good, Phil. Yes.
Hopefully you remember this name. I mean, listen, that previous Cubs caller you had about, you made a claim about the knuckleheads. I really I hate to hear that out of a Cubs fan, but the real fact of the matter is, everybody, at least I have, I've been lobbying for Jake Fox for some time. I mean, last year was Micah Hoffmeyer.
Sure.
The pieces that have came up when Ramirez got hurt and when Zambrano went down.
Right.
It seems like the pieces down in AAA who came up thus far have added value in some way, shape, or form.
Well, even Bobby Scales had a little energy there. Then he's back down to about 250. Right. And you know what? I agree with you. Often a kid will come up and he might spark. Most managers won't put the guy in. I'm shocked, to use the better word, Phil, that Jake Fox is not in the lineup today. Now, he would have to play third base. And that is where he is not, of all his positions, he's played there probably the least amount. So it's sort of problematic, as they say, defense.
Right. Well, I still think that you're gonna see him in that spot. I think it's probably worth a chance to see how he performs at third base. The other big thing too is with that Jason Waddell. This fellow's been around for some time, but I mean he was in spring training. He made it up to the last week in camp, and I questioned why Lou and Henry kept this guy down then and left Kotzen on the roster. So
here's some interesting number here, real quick. You'll like this, Phil, or you won't like it. Waddell, the lefty, replacing Kotz. Listen to this. He has great numbers at AAA against right-handed hitters. He holds them to 205. Lefties are creaming his ass for 346. He's another one of those goofy lefties. I'm going to hear about Remlinger again. How they can't get, they're loogies. Left-handed one-out guys. L-O-O-G-Y. He's a loogie that can't get out lefties. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate it. Murphapalooza, driven to you by ChevyDriveChicago.com. Back in a flash. Back to your phones. Plenty of hot. I'll give you the results of our text question. Last chance. Letter H, letter C. Who do you want in the goal net tonight for the Blackhawks? Huey or Crawford? 67011 remains our phone number. It's Murph till 2. We'll be joined momentarily on the celebrity line. Dean Ellis, voice of the AAA Iowa Cubs, said he'd check in, give us a quick scouting report. Text poll results are in. What do you think so far there, Jay Zawaski? H for Huey, or would you rather see the kid? Corey Crawford tonight, letter C at 67011. How are the results coming in? Probably about 90-10 for Huey, right? I mean,
no, it's evening up.
Real? What do you got?
Right now, it's 58% for Huey, 42 for Crawford. So
if you really sell this, you can get this to 50-50. I've learned that over the years. How you present it, how you pitch it, how you phrase it. I'll bet you can get this, Jay Zawoski. Go ahead. Say we're looking for a few more. Okay, give it to me.
We're looking to see who Hawks fans want to start in goal tonight.
Yeah.
Chris Huey, who looked terrible.
There you go.
In Game 4.
There you go.
And Corey Crawford, who was adequate in his play in the second period.
Sway the jury. Slant the jury. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Corey Crawford's got the big leg pads there, and
he keeps the Are they illegally oversized?
Maybe they are. Yeah.
Celebrity line ringing. Everyone on hold. I'll get right to you. Yasgur's Farm. Let's punch it up. Let's go down to the AAA Chicago Cubs. Good friend of the score, Dean Ellis, play-by-play voice of the Iowa Cubs at KPSC Radio. Hello, it's Murph, Dean.
Hey, Murph, I think we're going to change your name to the Potawatomi Potters.
I like that. Hey, let's trademark that so no one can steal it.
Exactly.
Fans,
sell some hats.
Say hi to Dean Ellis. All right, Dean, you're always kind enough to give us a couple minutes. We have 3 call-ups on the north side of Chicago. We will go in the order of maybe least known to the fans. Jason, I believe it's Waddell, a left-handed bullpen guy. Let's be very honest right here, Dean Ellis. Neil Kotz had worn his welcome out with Lou Piniella, and Lou probably said, this is just me talking, probably said to Jim Hendry, get him out of here. I don't care, just get him out of here. So is this just a fill-in maybe? Tell us about left-handed bullpen guy Jason Waddell.
Well, it could be a fill-in, but if you go up there and get a few guys out and put up some zeros, you might stay a while. But Waddell he was a free agent, one of those minor league free agents they signed to the offseason. Murph, he spent 8 years in the Giants organization, signed out of high school, never made it to AAA, which seems odd, but he's that situational lefty. He's the guy that'll come in, and he's, Mio Kotz is more of a power guy. He has a good fastball, and Waddell will be more of a finesse guy with a curveball, and I think do better against left-handed hitters than what Kotz did.
Well, the problem is, according to the lefty-righty splits, as they call it, from Cubs media here, probably got this from Peter Chase sent it over, at least as of this year, Waddell is not doing so well versus lefties, and this is what bothers me. It says here, right-handed hitters, 205 off Waddell. Well, lefties are blasting his ass. Oh, no, that was me. That's not in the present. Hitting him for 346. He can't get lefties out so far this year. What's going on?
Well, that's a little deceiving, Murph, because early in the season he'd faced, I think the first 5 lefties he faced, the guys had like 3 infield hits. And, like you said, that dying quail and one that just snuck to the infield.
Well, that's why we have, you see, it's 9 for 26, 9 hits, 4 or 5 of those little duck snorts, and that turns it around. Let's go next. That's why we have Dean Ellis with us down on the farm. Next is the middle infielder, shortstop, second base. He's in the starting lineup at second base. I understand he's been playing mostly shortstop at AAA. His name's Andres Blanco.
Yeah, he's the guy that he can be on SportsCenter. Some of the highlight plays that he makes defensively. He's very good.
Wow.
Definitely an everyday player defensively at the big league level. And he's been hitting the ball right around 300 this season for us, a switch hitter, more of a singles hitter, but he'll put the ball in play. But number one with him is his defense. He came up with the Royals and made it to the big leagues when he was 20 years old. I think at the time the youngest positional player ever for Kansas City, but probably got rushed just because of the needs of that organization about 4 years ago. But a very good player defensively, and again, I think he's a good fill-in once in a while at short.
Blanco has played with the Royals in 04, in 05, and in 06. 51 Major League games at short, 31 Major League games at second. As Dean Ellis tells us, a flashy feeler with a pretty good hose, right? I saw him down in spring training. I think that was the guy I was watching there at the minor league. He had a real nice hose.
Oh, definitely. He can throw guys out, make that play in the hole in the outfield, still get a lot in the throw, and just a tremendous arm, and very good range. So, again, his number one strength is his defense.
And, hey, drum roll, please. All right. The Cub fans have been demanding for over a month. They've been calling. They've been saying, Murph, where the hell is Jake Fox? And what do you know? Ta-da, Jake Fox called up today. He is what they say on fire with the bat. Dean Ellis, tell us a little about his hitting first, and then we'll try to figure out where he might play. Jake Fox, please.
That's the big question mark for him, is where to put him in the field. And you think it's long overdue because they've used him on that road trip. There's a guy that can provide some instant offense, and he's got power, uses the whole field. He's developed more discipline this season and just phenomenal numbers, not only leading our league, but all of minor league baseball and a number of categories, including those Triple Crown categories of home runs and RBI and slugging and batting average. So definitely a guy, a lefty today, I would guess he's going to be in the lineup for Chicago today.
Well, unfortunately, that's why we're scratching our head, and that's why you and I are not Lou Piniella, the right-handed hitting Jake Fox, 26 years old, leading all of AAA baseball in batting, homers, and RBIs, is not in the starting lineup. Soriano, Terrio, Bradley, Lee at first, Johnson in center, Soto catching, 7, 8, 9, Friel at third, Blanco, we just talked about at second, Zambrano pitching. Maybe his rent-a-car broke down near the Mississippi River. I do not know, Dean.
Or he might be the secret weapon off the bench today. Maybe that's the plan.
You know what? The Pirates have I believe 3 lefties in the... You might be correct. The Pirates have 3 lefties in the bullpen. So the Cubs bench today, Fontenot, lefty. The Hoff, power, lefty. Hill, the catcher who you don't want to burn early, switch hitter. And Fuki, a lefty. So sitting there for Lou to intimidate the other team, ready to bring him out there. Jake Fox, the hitting machine. Where has he played with the glove at Iowa?
He's played mainly first base. That's probably his best position, but if Steve Lee is back in there today, that explains that. But first base, the outfield, he's even caught a couple of games here recently and held his own behind the plate. Remember, he broke in as a catcher.
Right.
They switched him 2 years ago to first base in the outfield. He played, I think, 1 or 2 games at third base.
Hold on now. Let's hear that again, Dean. That could be a key statement. How many games has he been in your memory there at third base? 1 or 2?
Yes, at the most. I think it was 2 games here within the last 10 days when, Ramirez went down, and he actually went into our manager and said, hey, put me in at third, and he took ground balls, pregame at third base, and just because he saw the need up above.
Well, I'll tell you what, Dean, always great to catch up with you. So where are the Iowa Cubs? Are you home in Des Moines, or are you on a road trip?
Oh, we're here in Des Moines. We've got a doubleheader, rained out last night, so we're playing 2 tonight against Sacramento. That's the A's affiliate, and they're the 2-time league champs, and they're in first in their division. We're struggling a little bit right now, and losing a guy like Jake Fox. Blanco probably not going to help us.
Well, you're getting Bobby Scales back, and Bobby had a nice little run here, a hell of a guy. I'll leave you with this final question. Who's got the best press box food in AAA? I'm sure Des Moines, right there at home?
Des Moines right up there. Salt Lake City's real good. There's a number of good spots around.
What's so good about the press box food at Salt Lake City?
Oh, it's just a variety, and they make it up there in the press box themselves. Memphis has a good barbecue, so yeah. You're welcome to travel with us anytime, Murph.
I bet you got some great pork sandwiches and some nice ears of corn there in Des Moines.
Oh, definitely, yep. Coming up on that season.
I'm going to hop in the car and come on out next time I get a few days off. Great to visit with Dino. Thanks for your personal time. We really appreciate it.
Always fun, Murph.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Dean Ellis, it's Murph. Brandon on the west side of Chicago has been patient. I hope Brandon is still there. Hello, Brandon.
Hey, Murph. How you doing, buddy?
Good. Went down on the farm. Thanks for holding.
Hey, no problem. Hey, nothing for an old-time friend. I don't know if you remember Alex and Angela's at all.
Oh, you're kidding. The great pizza on 31st Street?
Yeah, Alex was my grandfather. I'm Brandon.
Well, Brandon, good to talk with you. Fans, one of my old neighborhood pizza places on 31st Street, and a great, great family. Good to hear from you, Brandon.
Good to hear from you. Yeah, I was listening earlier. I was agreeing, what you brought up about the Milton Bradley comment. I am a Sox fan, so I am partial, but you still get that up for baseball.
Sure.
Yeah, it definitely does open up an eyes, as far as, the umpires looking at him differently. It could have very well been a strike 3, if the media didn't come out like that.
It would have been, Brandon, for anyone just tuning in. We talked earlier, and Brandon brings it back to the table, that maybe Milton Bradley was about as dumb as a fox when on a 3-2 pitch yesterday, not Jake Fox, on a 3-2 pitch yesterday, there would have been strike 3 up until his little outburst. The umpires, ball 4, knowing that the league was watching because it was a coast-to-coast story yesterday. Then the Hoff hits a double, and it's a third run because of ball 4. Hey, Brandon.
Sometimes better to be lucky than good, right?
Oh, buddy. Hey, I want that secret pizza recipe sometime. It was the best.
I got it in the back pocket, buddy.
Thanks, Brandon.
Hey, it was good to talk to you. Hey, I would love to talk to you sometime. If you get some chance sometime, I'll holler out at you, okay?
Please do.
Okay, sir. Take care.
All right, buddy. Pizza place over in LaGrange Park. Brian is a car phone. Hi, Brian.
How you doing, Murph?
Good, Brian. You got a good pizza place for me out in your neighborhood? You grew up with it. Is it still there? What's your best pizza joint?
That pizza place is going to be Dino's Pizza and Pasta, just by the ball yards down the street from me.
What ball yard?
Well, it's just the Little League Park.
What town?
Lake in the Hills.
Lake in the Hills. Sounds great. Thin or deep? Thin or deep do you like?
Good stuff. What do I like?
Thin crust or the deep?
Deep. Got to go with the deep crust.
That's good. More thin. Screw that. The true Chicago style is the thin crust. Good. You eat the deep, they'll be more thin for me. Brian, what do you have? Go ahead, buddy.
Well, I wanted to focus on Bradley's next at-bat in the 5th inning because one of the more comical events you'll often see at home plate is especially the neighborhood 3-0 strike 1 call. Unless it's in the left-handed batter's box, it's probably strike 1. Bradley holds the bat, thinking it's ball 4, but rather than making it halfway to first for the umpire to raise his hand and him sheepishly have to go back and take another pitch,
he froze.
Waited, ball 4, and Len Casper even commented on it in the broadcast.
Right.
That, hey, it's... let the umpire do the umpiring and then take your base when it's called.
And that was the big 3-run rally. Bradley, that walk with first and second, nobody out with the Cubs up 4-1. That would load the bases. The Hoff would knock in another run with an opposite field line drive. And then Fontenot, who's been swinging much better ever since he pinch hit, drove the ball off the pitcher's leg Friday night in San Diego. It ricocheted for a 1-3 out, but he's been out. But you are right. Hey, you're pretty smart. You know the game.
Congratulations. You've just
just been named the Browns Chicken Caller of the Show.
Hey, nice job. Brian, thank you for calling, and hang on, we'll hook you up. Browns, lunch, beefs, Browns, you know it tastes better. Hang on, Brian.
Thanks, Murph.
All right, buddy, back in a flash, Murph-a-Palooza. We'll have our final results. See if Jay Zawowski was able to slant the jury. Text us last chance, letter H, letter C, at 67011. Who do you want in the nets tonight for the Hawks? Hugh A or the kid Crawford, H or C? Give me a few C's out there. Score hot phone ringing. Very few people at the private inside number. Let's punch it up. I hope it's Zach Zaidman from Wrigley Field. Zach!
Man, I got lucky. I got that number. Hey, Murph.
Hey, good thing you didn't get one of those numbers where they deliver food over to you or some other thing like that. Now, Zach Zaidman at Wrigley Field, and it's Carlos Zambrano. Boy, we got Z's everywhere. And Zach Duke. There's a Zach Zaidman and Zach Duke. Oh, hey, Zach. Hi, Zach. How you doing, Zach? Okay, Zach. First time in Let the Record Show 5 years I've made him laugh.
You know, the funny thing is you weren't the first guy to make that joke today. Fred Mitchell, longtime writer for the Tribune, actually made that joke today a little bit earlier, and he didn't even mention the Zach Duke part of it. But Duke, by the way, remember when
how can he tell a joke without the Zach Duke part of it?
He said there's a single Z, a big Z on the mound, being covered by a double Z. Anyway, the point is that remember Zach Duke early on in his career gave the Cubs a little bit of trouble?
Yeah.
Not so lately. 0-5, an ERA of 4.58. over his last 9 games against the Cubs. Meantime, Zambrano, as you know, coming off that performance in which he returned from the DL on Friday, had command issues early through 97 pitches, didn't even make it past the 5th inning. So they're hoping for that command to take over earlier on in this game. Against Pittsburgh, Zambrano has been pretty good over his last 6 starts, 3-0 with an ERA of 3.90.
Well, the game Friday in San Diego, that's the one when Dempster beat... Zambrano Friday in San Diego. That was the one where he walked the batter, then hit a guy, and then started losing it out there. But then it was the good Carlos when Dempster beat up at Wrigley Field the drinking machine, whatever you call it there, the more than a Gatorade, it's sort of like the dispenser at the 7-Eleven. And Zambrano tried to fix it. I thought that was the good Carlos.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. And we learned he's very handy. But remember, a few years ago, got in a little bit of trouble when he was using the computer, right? So the last thing you want is for him to use his hands in a non-baseball related activity.
Well, sometimes they say things that, the guy gets hurt or whatever, at carpal tunnel, maybe it's something else. You never know. You punch something, you go on the computer. Maybe you got a sore shoulder, a sore right shoulder is what he was trying to say. And you're Aaron Miles. I didn't know Aaron Miles had a bum throwing shoulder till today. When did this happen?
Apparently, it happened way back in spring training, and the Cubs were keeping it quiet. Okay. And that's, I guess, a reason, part of it, at least, why he was hitting .204 in 37 games. So they're going to send him out to Arizona. He's on the disabled list. They're going to give him special treatment, and then when he feels ready to go, they'll give him a rehab.
Good for his hay fever and arthritis.
Lots of changes, by the way, Murph, today.
Now, how come Jake Fox, we're visiting with Zach Zaidman at Wrigley Field. We'll get to Sox and Blackhawks and more Cubs talk right after the update. Last thing, Zach, I was shocked that Jake Fox is not in the lineup. The Cubs will face 4 left-handed starting pitchers in their next 5 days, today, and then 3 of the 4 games with the Dodgers. Wolf, Kershaw, and Eric Minton will be in. How come Jake Fox isn't starting?
He would be starting today at first base, but Derek Lee is feeling good again, so he's in the lineup. And Lee's been on a tear, at least when he's been out there over the last week, so hitting over 400. So that's why Lee is playing at first base. The other question that I know you've been asking is, if not first, where else can you play a Jake Fox? So he's going to be working with Alan Trammell and Devontae Jesus in terms of taking grounders at third, which should be an adventure. He'll also be given some assignments out in the outfield. We're going to get our first look today, at least in the starting lineup, for Andres Blanco, one of the 3 new players up with a big club. He is a guy who was playing shortstop at Iowa, going to be playing second here, hit .314 down in Iowa, switch hitter.
Great glove, great range.
He's got a rocket for an arm.
He's got a rocket for an arm. Zach, great job. See you later, Zach.
You got it.
Say goodbye to Zach for me, okay? Bye-bye. I know we're late. I'm sorry. And I bet you Mitch is in the car. You're late now. Scoreboard update next. And then plenty of Sox, Blackhawks, and Cubs talk. Pick a lane. 644 6767, and our text question is unbelievable. What's happening to my poor guy Jay Zawaski? Murph, driven to you by Chevy Drives Chicago.com. Eliota Hayes, Jeremiah. Joe Bartos, Detective Joe Jeremiah. Or Joe Eliota. Welcome back, everybody. Murph with you this hour. The Score brought to you by Menards. All right, tell you what. Going to open up the phone. Oh, we in a moment we'll recap our... Jay, you'd be a lousy attorney, a lousy lawyer in front of the jury.
Thank you. I'll take it as a compliment.
You swayed the jury, it appears, the other way. We'll have our results from Jay Zawaski's Blackhawks text question from earlier. Who do you want in the Nets tonight, Huey or Corey Crawford? We had some very interesting results once you tried to throw in your ideas. 644-6767. Blackhawks fans, and Jay, I'll need your input on this also. I'd like you to give me the odds of the Hawks winning tonight. Game 5. And it's going to be like 1 out of blank, all right? The odds of the Hawks winning tonight in Detroit, 1 out of blank. Now, the follow-up to that is, let's say the Hawks do win, or what if? What if the Hawks then do win tonight? Here's where it gets more interesting. What are the odds Saturday at home, Game 6, that the Hawks would put together the back-to-back victories in Game 6? 1 chance out of what? So, Hawks fans, who's in the net tonight for you, Huey or Crawford? What are the chances of winning tonight, Hawks fans? 1 out of fill in the blank. White Sox fans, let's talk about Scott Podsednik. All of a sudden, everyone's writing about it. We've been talking about it. What do you think would happen if Pods stays healthy? Can he stay healthy? The wheels right in it. See, Scotty Pods, it's all about the wheels. It's all about the legs. Look at what he's doing right now. So I'm going to distill this down. Sox fans, how important? Now the leadoff man. He's been in the leadoff slot for 11 games. Sox are 6 wins, 5 losses, which is better than they were. They were about 4 under when he was installed in the leadoff spot 11 games ago. They're 6-5, not radically better, but better. Sox fans, 644-6767. How important is Scotty Pods? And more than that, can you trust him? Is this just a little 2-week burst? Will the legs last? And Cub fans want to go back to this question. Is starting pitch, we're talking about, think Jake Peavy, is starting pitching really the Cubs' biggest need? All right? So we got Cubs fans. Is starting pitching, Jake Peavy, is that really the biggest need for your Chicago Cubs? Sox fans, Scotty Pods, can you trust his legs to last? How important would this guy be? And Blackhawks fans, the odds of winning tonight's game. Set it for me. 1 out of blank. Come on, pick a lane. Let's go. 644-6767. Scotty Pods is running around. He's throwing guys out at third base. Murph, where's Jake Peavy? What's the Cubs' biggest need right now? Is it starting pitching? And hockey fans, odds of the Hawks winning tonight, 1 out of blank. Let's go. Oh, what were the final? 60% for Huey. What was our final result there, Jay? 60%?
60-40 for Huey.
But wait a minute. It was 59% Huey, 41 Crawford. When I said, Jay, why don't you see if you can't sway the fans, the jury out there, and you made a little pitch before 1 o'clock. Hey, Crawford's the guy. He's got, what do you say, big pads.
Big pads.
Yeah, Huey. So it went the other way. They turned on you. Your own Blackhawks fan said, this guy's Zawaski. I'm going to show him. So they bounced it up 1% to 60% Huey from 59 when you were trying to lower it down.
Yep. Pretty much.
Welcome to the world of radio.
Yeah, radio hell,
644-6... it can get worse. 644-6767. Scott's in Glen Ellen gets us rolling. Hi, Scott.
How you doing, Murph?
Good. Scott, pick a lane. Cubs, Sox, Blackhawks.
Blackhawks. Big Hawk fan, Murph.
Oh, good. Me too. Now, tonight in Detroit, 1 out of what? What are the chances, of the Hawks winning this game tonight?
It's a big mountain. I'm saying 1 in 9.
1-9 now.
1-9. I'm cheering for him. You've been talking about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have a better odd if Javi Bouin was the goalie.
Yeah.
And they're in Detroit. Now, if they win tonight, Murph, I'm saying 1-5 on Saturday.
Well, see, now that's the interesting thing. And I think you pegged it pretty good. In other words, if the Hawks and the Red Wings played 10 games in a row in Detroit, you got the Hawks winning 1 out of 10 because you got the odds about 1 out of 9, right?
That's correct, Murph.
But what if? Hang on. What if they win that game tonight? Now you're back here. I got it at more like 1 out of 2. I think Game 6 is the Hawks game then.
Well, I'm with you on that, Murph.
No, you were 1 out of 5.
Well, I'm 1 out of 5. I know I wasn't quite with you, but I think they got a much better shot on Saturday if they win tonight.
Oh, I think if they win tonight, it goes 7, and frankly, I don't feel good about 7, but it'll be a hell of a... Hey, how do you... I'll leave you with this, Scott. How do you define a successful season for the Hawks? A, it's already successful. B, you got to progress on to the Stanley Cup round. C, win them one more game, bring it back here. Or maybe it's already successful. How do you handle that?
Well, Murph, it's kind of a two-parter for me. I think it's already been successful, but I think tonight's game is really important because the chips are down, and I think we're going to find out tonight about a lot of these guys, what our future's going to be. And, are they going to – I don't think they're going to lay down. I don't think these guys have that in them. And I just think we'll see. It'll be a fun game to watch.
I think they're going to be, maybe you agree, more controlled, more with their wits, in other words, not just trying to retaliate. The cat got out of the bag last game. I think they're going to be a different group of guys out there, and they're going to be under control. I like it tonight. It's going to be tough. I think about 1 out of 8, 1 out of 9. You're probably right, but let's make it the one that works, okay?
You got it, Murph.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye-bye.
All right, Glenn Allen, Scott, 644-6767. Cub fans, this Jake Peavy thing, how come I still hear Jake Peavy's name? Is the biggest need for the Chicago Cubs right now, I'm sure who wouldn't like to have Jake Peavy. One thing, if you were able to work out the Jake Peavy, there's no law that says then in the winter, see, there's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of money involved. And there's not a lot of money out there these days. Let's say that something does work out and you make a trade for Jake Peavy and you owe him the $60 million for the next, 5 years, 4 years. There's no law that says you can't, in the off season, try to make a trade and move Carlos Zambrano. So in other words, here's what I'm saying. You would have, for the rest of this season, if you pick up Peavy, you'd have Zambrano and Peavy. Then next year, in the winter, you work it out, find a team. It's not as easy just doing this, snapping your finger, but there's always a chance. Then you go, you know what? Let's move the Zambrano $18 million off. And you're really where you were right now with an ace. You'd be named Peavy instead of Zambrano, but you'd have them both this year. Pick a lane, Barrington, Illinois. Hey, Rocky.
Hey, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. Pick a lane.
I wanted to comment about the White Sox.
You want to pick the White Sox lane. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know what? I think if we turn this season around and our pitching keeps up where it is, man, and our hitting starts coming play, we should be able to take this division away from the rest of those chumps.
Well, you know what? I don't know if they're the biggest chumps out there, the other teams. The Royals are not bad. Detroit's not bad. Minnesota's not. I don't know about chumps, but I will say this. Since Podsednik's been in the leadoff slot, it's only been 11 games. It's a whole different feel for the lineup up and down. Now, you're going to miss Carlos Quentin, who wouldn't? The Cubs miss Ramirez at third. You can't just replace, your best hitter out there. But I like this Pods thing. Do you think it's just tricking us? Is he just tricking us right now for 2 weeks, Rocky?
I think, if he stays consistently healthy and steals some bases and gets on base.
I know that, but can he? No. You threw the word if. I can't allow that. Rocky, is he going to do it?
I think he can.
All right. Thanks, Rocky. I appreciate it very much. Pick a lane. Lots of topics. Cubs, Sox, Blackhawks. It's Murph. Blackhawks fans. Who do you want in goal tonight? There's back down to 59%. UA 41%. There's the kid Corey Crawford getting some love. Sox fans, Pods. Pods has been not only running around with the young legs. How long can those legs last? Does he have legs? Does that movie have legs? Does Pods have legs? But he's got an arm, too. It's almost like he has...
He's got a rocket for an arm.
That's into left field. Pods in fair ground makes the catch, and here comes the throw. He gone. He gone. Beautiful peg by Pasednik.
Well, that's the third time he's done that. And in the scouting reports, say, if you get a chance, run on Scott Pasednik. Well, they've done it. And 3 times they've paid the price. And if you're at second base with nobody out, you got to be sure you're going to make this by plenty. And he was actually out by plenty.
He doesn't have a rocket for an arm, but they're running on him, and he's accurate. Quick release. Highlights there. The U. How are you? WCIU. That was second inning action last night. No score in Los Angeles. The Angels, Hunter on second, leads off with a double. Fly ball, little poop ball out towards the left field foul line by Morales. Hunter tags at second. Figures maybe the left-handed throwing Pods have to sort of, turn back, throw to third. Boom! Out by a mile. Either that or Torrey Hunter just not as fast as he used to be. Jay Zawoski, aren't you picking a lane here? I know what lane you're going to pick. Let's go to Chris from Lincolnwood. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how you doing, Murph?
Good. Pick a lane. Hawks, Bulls, Cubs, Sox, Bears?
Just a couple quick comments.
Okay.
I guess it's good to see Crawford getting a little love, but there's a little bit of a concern that there's people out there that actually think it'd be a better idea to have him start in goal tonight.
Well, you know what? The phrase was, who would you rather see in goal? So I guess you're correct. Now, let me bring Jay Zawoski in. Jay, say hi to my guy Chris in Lincolnwood.
Hello, Chris.
Hi, how you doing, Jay?
Good.
Jay's sort of my hockey guy. He's the Scores hockey guy. He'll be on after the Hawks from time to time. Now, Jay, what do you think of the goalie situation tonight with Chris here?
Well, you do have to go with UA just because he's a veteran. He has the experience. But I think the fact that he played so bad and Crawford played at least average when he was in, you can make sort of an argument for Crawford.
Well, unfortunately, Huey is the future of the Hawks in net for a little while here. So
now the key word there was unfortunately, Chris.
Yeah, that's another problem.
He hasn't showed me a lot, but who knows? Maybe he'll mature a little bit.
All right, what are the odds tonight? 1 out of 1,000,000, 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5. What are the 1 out of 100?
I'd say that you can flip a coin tonight. I think they have a good chance.
1 out of 2.
Yeah, but as far as them winning the series, don't hold your breath.
No, I've learned that never works, holding the breath too long. I did that in 69
and one other 84. Quick comment about Bradley. A lot of times when guys are having problems or are going through a slump, you want to root them on so they're not having such a hard time with it. He's kind of a hard guy to like, isn't he?
Well, you know what? I like everybody when they're performing, and when they're not, it's a little more difficult. Chris, thanks, buddy.
All right, take care.
I appreciate it very much. Pick a lane. Hey, if you're the facility operations vice president, here's who you pick for HVAC piping, chillers, big HVAC mechanical, vtowngroup.com. West Town, North Town, Southwest Town, Northwest Town. The white trucks, the red stripes, they do it right. Big jobs, thetowngroup.com. Let's go to Gary, Sherrillville, Indiana. Hey, Gary.
Hey, what's going on?
Good. Pick a lane. What do you want to talk about, Hawks?
Well, White Sox.
All right. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. Well, first of all, my opinions may not be popular because I'm a Tiger fan in this area.
All right.
But I heard a caller a minute ago who was saying everybody's a chump in the Central Division.
Yes, we had a caller that said all those chumps up above the White Sox.
Well,
that would be your first place, Detroit chumps. I mean Tigers.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. As the season goes on, what's going to happen? The Tigers are going to distance themselves from the rest of the field.
They're going to pull away, huh?
They will, because you guys have observed how the pitching staffs come around. Verlander is lighting it up.
Now, you got Dontrell Willis back in the 5-hole, right? Number 5 starter, basically.
He is right now. They got Zach Miner backing him up in case he falters again.
Yeah.
But I would say that Dontrell Willis would be the number 3 starter for the White Sox, and he's the number 5 for the Tigers.
Well, he's just 2 weeks out of trying to come back from the minor leagues when he had been unable to locate the ball. But Dontrell Willis, he's a solid number 5 for anybody, and he might be a 3 for everybody, a 2 or a 1 again, like he sort of was as a young guy. Hey, the first time in Pickle Lane history that someone didn't pick the Cubs, Sox, Bears, Bulls, Blackouts. Gary picked the Tigers. Thanks. Got it on, Gary. What's the Detroit sports yapper up there? You can call them. The score? No. We have copyright that. Call the Detroit sports yapper, but we appreciate all our fans. 644-6767. It's Murph back in a flash. Sports Radio 670. I'm going to talk with you, the Sox fans, when we return. Everyone on hold, stay there. Hawks talk also. Sox fans, we're going to talk about the play made by Jason Nix at second base yesterday. As good as it gets, not gets, he's on the bench. Nix, as good as it gets. Sports Radio 670. Did you see it? The score. Paint a picture here, radio guy. Sox fans, this kid at second base. And if you want to talk a little more about Scotty Pods, running, hitting a little bit, throwing guys out. Sox fans, how important is this guy? But more than that, do you think it's just a 2-week burst? Do you think that Scotty Pods can hold up on the long grind? The legs have never shown, other than in the one situation where he had a terrific year, World Series champs, the 05 Sox, he made it all year. So is this something that now, with Quentin going down, you're going to see Dwayne Wise coming up. Your outfield's going to have to shuffle around. Now you're right back to where you were in center field. Pods, really, they don't want him in center. Left, sort of, you're lucky that you have Pods hot right now with Carlos Quentin out. If you recall, the real reason that Pods was even signed, I did a little research here, was on May 4th. If you remember, Sox fans, on May 4th, that's when Brian Anderson was put on the DL with the ribcage muscle. The oblique. And that was the day also, May 4th, that they released Jerry Owens. Pods was signed. They tried, remember Lillibridge in center field? Then Guy got hit by a pitch. Everybody was getting banged up. So that's where Pods sort of, by default, but that happens often in baseball. You find the guy that you didn't need, you put him in, it's working out. Here's Hawkins Stoney last night on WCIU. A little more about, hey, what about Pods, fellas?
Talking to Pods before the game. As I said last night, during that game, that's the closest thing that's reminded me of 05. So I said to Pods, before the game, I said, Pods, that was shades of 05, wasn't it? He looked at me and smiled and said, well, we might have something going here.
Well, Scotty's played real well.
He has played better than I anticipated.
Yeah, and the most surprising thing to me is not that he's hit the baseball. It's been that he's made 3 great throws and played very well defensively.
As Stoney and Hawkeroo last night on the U. Defense for the Sox last night, huge. Paul Konerko, I don't know if you're still awake. I watched it, bottom of the 8th inning, first and second, 2 out. And there's a ground ball to Alexi Ramirez. Alexi, by the way, all over the field last night. X-Ram with another great game. He throws with 2 on, 2 out, bottom of the 8th inning. At the time, the Sox were just up 1-0. I'm sorry, misspoke. Up 3-1. Sox were up 3-1 with the 2 men on base, and it was a 6-3 putout. Sounds pretty mundane to end the inning. No. Both runners would have scored on the throw in the dirt, and Paulie K scooped it out real nice, and the inning was over. Big D there. Pods, as we talked about, throwing out Hunter at third base in the second inning on a fly ball down the left field line. Hunter, inexplicably, tags up, tries to get to third, but Nix, Jason Nix, all over the field last night. Plus, he threw in a couple home runs. Here's Jason Nix on maybe as good a play as a second baseman can make. This was going back. This is the third inning. No, you know what? Let's see the inning here. We got bottom of the second, Jay Zawowski. Yeah, you racked this up for me. Here's Farmer and DJ here on the score. Smash up the middle. Can Nix get to his right? Sure he can.
The 2-1 to Rivera. Line shot up the middle. Diving. Nix has it. Gets up. Throws. Hang a star on that one. Wow, what a play by Jason Nix to rob Juan Rivera in the inning. No runs. If you're just joining us, what a play Jason Nix made on a ball that was hit up the middle by Juan Rivera. past the pitcher, Colon, and it was a rock at a line drive. One hop, looked like it was in center field. I thought he was just diving to make Colon feel good. Caught the ball, got up, threw him out.
And I mean, the perfect description is Bartolo Colon threw that ball, and as the ball passed him, he reached out his glove to try and snag it. That's how close it was to being right over the rubber, and how far Jason Nix actually was up the middle.
Oh, man, what a play by Nix last night here on the score. By the way, maybe we'll rack that up again. Was that DJ sound like he's sitting on a feather? Woo! Did you hear him back there? By the way, Vuk is on your side. Jeff Vukovich, Murph's Nationwide Insurance Agent of the Year. You know Vuk for all your insurance needs. Park Ridge, Family Guy. He's solid as a rock, big sports fan. 30 years. Vuk! Jeff Vukovich. All right, Jay, let's hear the beginning of that again. In the background, it's got to be DJ, right? Let's listen.
The 2-1 to Rivera. Line shot up the middle. Diving. Nix has it. Gets up. Throws. Hang a star on that one.
Nicely done. But Nix wasn't done. He says, you know what? I'm going to put a little punch into the ball. Now, I'm not just good field, no hit. 5th inning, no score. This would have been about maybe 10:30 last night in case you missed it. Nix at the plate.
2-2 pitch. High and deep to left. Speaking of home runs, this has got a chance to go. It goes into the Sox bullpen. Nix has hit his 3rd of the season, and the Sox lead 1-0.
And if that wasn't enough, he says in the 7th inning, you know what? We only have a 2-run lead. Maybe I'll do it again.
Nix ahead in the count 3-1. Saunders sidestep kick in the 3-1 pitch. Is swinging a long one to left. Going back, Rivera. He's at the track. He's hit his 2nd home run of the game. 4th on the season, and the Sox lead 3-0.
That was Jason Nix. He might not, I understand, he might not hit 2 more home runs all year long, but you know what? I think he's your everyday second baseman. I know it was against a lefty. You're going to put Getz in there against right-handed pitching. You know what? With the glove, this guy might be one of those guys that has such a good glove that he can carry maybe a 225, 245 batting average. There's not many of them around anymore in this offensive baseball world we live in. Here's after the game, Jason Nix. Jason, what about those 2 home runs? We'll get back to it.
I faced him a lot, actually, in my career. In AAA, I faced him a lot, so I kind of knew what to expect and got the barrel on a couple balls.
Murph till 2. Tell you what, let's do this. Let's catch up on a few things back in a flash. When we return, I'm going to put my guy Jay Zawoski on the spot. Find out the keys to Blackhawks game tonight. And the consensus is, Murph, it's about 1 out of 5, 1 out of 10 chance that they win this game 5 in Detroit. But you win this one, then you know what happens? Now you're back to about a 50-50 chance to win Game 6. I like Game 6, big time, if you get out of Detroit and come back.
Well, I think our focus is that we have to play our best game going forward. There are some areas as we progress in this series where we've had good stretches against them. But at the start of the series, we're talking about we have to play perfect hockey. We got to be at our best. So I think all the elements of our game have to be in order and be effective.
Coach Q, what it'll take tonight to win. Hey, you know what? Game 6, that'll be a blast. Game 6, Hawks victory. I predict that getting there will be the adventure tonight. Jay Zawoski, Scores Blackhawks expert. We've been talking about it. We've been trying to forget about the last game. That was like a nightmare. Jay Zawoski, I think this game's going to look totally different. How will tonight's game, this hour of the score brought to you by Menards, how will tonight's game hopefully look a lot different from the last game?
Well, you're definitely going to see a better effort from the Hawks than you saw in Game 4. That was brutal, and that was very out of character for them, so they will be much better tonight.
Now, I was on a rare getaway out of town, so I watched some of it when I got back home. I didn't see the entire 60 minutes for all the flow and nuance. Where did it all break down early for the Hawks, Game 4?
It broke down right away.
Yeah.
The first note I made on the game was Hawks looked slow and disinterested. Then they got behind, and
then they got
couldn't
tough,
stop
right?
anything. And no, they didn't
tried
get
to get tough.
They got
crazy,
cheap and dirty, and they can't play that way. It's not their game. And for them to win tonight, they got to play physical, not dirty.
So you play right into Detroit's hands when you play dirty,
right,
and the penalties were way out of whack, right?
Right,
Penalty
you put them on the
minutes,
power play for so long, and you can't beat them that way.
So, key to the game tonight, what else?
All right, so play physical, not dirty.
Right.
Stay out of the box, obviously. QA must be at least average. If he can be average, they have a chance. He was not even average.
So how many goals do you want him to hold? Of course, 0. How many goals do you want him to hold Detroit to be, average?
3.
3, all right.
I think that's
Can
fair.
the Hawks score 4? Sure.
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
And I think shots on goal will be a huge factor for the Hawks. If they're getting the puck on net, even if they're not great chances, it means they have control of the puck and control the puck in the Detroit zone.
Sun-Times today says Hawks need Patrick Kane to produce offensively. How do they get that to happen?
It's a good question. He's been pretty much shut down the whole series.
I know.
He's played okay, but Detroit just seems to have an answer for him. So,
and the injury to Martin Havlat, do we know any more, any less? They don't tell you much. As well, they shouldn't. I don't understand why people go, they're not telling us about the injuries. You don't want the other team to know. How bad? What do you think's going on with Havlat?
I think I don't know if he must have re-aggravated. I don't know if he had a concussion or if it's a re-aggravation of the shoulder or groin. Whatever it is, he's not going to go tonight, so the Hawks will be shorthanded there as well.
Havlat's already out for tonight?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that. Havlat's out, Javi Bolin's out. All right. Bring it back, Game 6. Murph saying thanks for listening, thanks for calling. Might be the last time we get to hear a little Blackhawks music. See you later, everybody. The old stadium organ.
I just have one sentiment. Good riddance.
Peace, love, and happiness, my man.